What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are just a couple of days away, finally, from the release of Battlefield 2042. So I'm just going to give you guys this heads up now. If you guys do want to see my personal gameplay, live reactions, I'm going to be streaming it the second it goes live. I have to do a little research. I don't know if it's coming out at midnight or if it's going to be coming out later in the day for me. But if it does come out midnight, there will be a stream the second it goes live. So if you guys want to be a part of that whole experience, make sure you guys go down into the description of this video, go to my Twitch link, follow it, hit the bell notification and all that good stuff so you get notified when I do go live. And like I said, along with Vanguard, Battlefield 2042, and Halo Infinite, I'm going to be streaming all of these games equally and also making content equally for all these games on this YouTube channel. So do expect a ton of variety across the board when it comes to all of my content. But leading up to the Battlefield 2042 launch, I think one of the biggest concerns from the whole community right now is how is this game going to perform when it comes out to the public? Because during the beta, the performance of this title was just completely disgusting. It didn't even feel like a game in general. It felt like a overall buggy, glitchy mess. And I think a lot of people took that glitchy, buggy beta and in their minds instantly came to the conclusion that this is what this game is going to turn out to be. But apparently the current build that they have out right now is pretty darn decent. If you guys haven't known already, there have been a ton of content creators who have gotten early access to Battlefield 2042 who will actually have playtime in this game, not just, little demos or trailers or something like that to check out. No, there's actual content creators right now playing the legitimate game. Hazard Zone, multiplayer, Portal, everything you could possibly think of in Battlefield 2042, they are getting hands-on right now. And over on Twitter, and also if you guys don't follow me over on there, same thing, link to that stuff is down in the description, but Tom Henderson, a very reliable leaker when it comes to everything pretty much FPS games now. First it was Call of Duty, now it's Battlefield, soon it's going to be everything. This guy has pretty much information for pretty much any game that you're interested in. But he has been having conversations with a lot of these content creators about how the performance and everything about this game is turning out so far. And I gotta say, from everything that he is pulling in right now, there is a ton of good information going on with this game. Now, Tom Henderson made a pros and cons list here, discussing the specific things that these content creators have been going through with their current experience with the build of Battlefield 2042. And I'm going to go over each section of this just so you all know what this game is going to turn out to be on day one. Now, these right here are the positives that a lot of content creators have come up with. And like I said, all of this stuff is on Tom Henderson's tweet. I didn't come up with any of this stuff. I didn't make this list. Like I said, it specifically came from him and his Twitter page. Now, like he says right here, little to no bugs. Many considered Orbital to be one of the worst maps, and also other maps play a lot better. Honestly, I know it's not a lot of information. It's only 3 things right here, but only 3 things is still really, really good. And honestly, it's not even 3 things. I'd consider the last 2 points pretty much the same exact thing. So legitimately, there's only 2 points here. But like I said, based off what we played in the beta, this right here is truly all I care about. Yes, I am a little concerned about, content and how we're going to be handling that stuff along with season passes and how EA is going to be doing things. But when it comes to the core game of Battlefield 2042, if anybody in here that's listening to this commentary, listen to any of my previous commentaries, actually listen. Now, I'm not talking about just looking at titles. I mean, actually listen to what I'm saying in my videos. Everybody knows that I love this game. My only main concern was how they're going to balance out the specialists, which they have been actively doing, and also how buggy this game is going to be at launch. Because if it was anything like the beta, it was going to be a disaster. And to see that the very first point says little to no bugs means a lot to me. And again, these aren't just casual people hopping into the game. These are content creators, people who hardcore grind these games. They know what's, a buggy mess and what's an actual good performing title. It's their job to pretty much play these games. So if they say or they claim that it's no bugs at all, I'm going to take their word for it. But again, we have to remember, this game isn't open to everybody just yet. I don't know if this was like a closed test server or if there's only a few people that, own early copies of the game that can play it right now. I don't know specifically what's going on, but as long as the core game has little to no bugs, then all we have to worry about is servers, and that's a whole EA thing. That's not DICE at all. DICE is in the clear here. If DICE has polished off the game, that's all that matters to me. We can bitch and complain to EA for days. I'll gladly do that with you guys, and we can hopefully get the servers that we need. But as long as the game is polished and is not going to be a buggy mess on top of bad servers, that right there, if that combination happened, that would have probably been the death death of Battlefield 2042 on launch. It would not have lasted longer than an hour before people already put it down and just decide to uninstall or sell it back. Now, of course, it's time for the second point, and I already said it, but I'll say it again. Many considered Orbital to be one of the worst maps in the game, and actually, this didn't really need to be said here because I think this was already a known fact once the beta launched. Pretty much everybody already voiced their opinions that Orbital was awful. And the funny thing about this whole thing is that I think, me personally, I am one of the many few people who really did enjoy their time while playing Orbital. I don't know why, or I don't know why everybody hated it, I guess I should say, but for me personally, I thought it was fantastic. I thought every part of this map, between the D side of the map all the way over to the jungle of C, it was so much variety, and it was a new vibe for every section of the map. I thought it just played absolutely great. But the good news for me is that pretty much every content creator who has had hands-on with this game think that the other maps play way better than Orbital ever has, which is, like I said, great because I love Orbital, so if the rest of the maps play better, for me personally, that can only be a good thing. I was a tad bit worried, and a lot of other people were worried as well, because we were expecting the other maps to be way larger than Orbital is, which could have been a problem in certain areas, especially if they didn't balance it out correctly with the flag placements. But if other people are saying it's very playable, and especially people who didn't like Orbital in the first place, which this map is a large-scale map, so if they don't like this one but they enjoy the others, then clearly the format of these map styles are really, really solid. And that's fantastic news because, again, maps are one of the core features to making sure your game is playable. Yes, having a lack of maps can be very bad for your game, like we've seen in Call of Duty, but the difference between Battlefield and Call of Duty is, like I just said, Battlefield has these large, all-out, warfare maps. You have here in Orbital, you can be by D, where it's a rocket launch with a skyscraper and a bunch of, infantry gameplay, and you can go right over, takes you less than a minute probably to get over to the C flag, and that whole side of the map is like jungle territory, and it's just absolutely insane to have all of this variety with multiple moments that can happen in each and every match. It's just great. But in Call of Duty, the matches are basic. It's a 6v6 game, and even when they added in Blitz with Vanguard, it's still on the 6v6 map, so there's nothing really different. It's the same experience every single time that you hop into the map. So in COD games, yes, you need more of the maps to have more variety, because in each match you play, there's less variety. You get what I'm saying? Battlefield, they can have less maps because in each map that you go into, there's more variety of gameplay moments per each section, with weather, destruction, where combat happens per each flag. Sometimes E flag will be popping off all game. Sometimes D flag will be popping off all game. Sometimes C flag will be popping off all game. Every single match you get into, there's a whole different experience, and that's what makes it so special. Now, with all of that being said, let's actually get into the negatives that the content creators have pointed out about Battlefield 2042. Now, the first one is being not a great amount of weapon selection for all-out warfare. And then the second one is bad connection problems during event. Again, of course, there's two amazing things, two things we've been begging for. And then there has to be, it couldn't be anything light when it comes to the negatives. It has to be the worst of the worst. The community has been pretty outraged about the weapon selection when it comes to the all-out warfare section of this game. If you guys haven't seen already, there's only going to be 22 guns at launch, which is going to be kind of a problem when it comes to variety. I know a lot of people are saying that, well, nobody uses anything in these games, and everybody just picks meta, and yeah, that's very true. But that doesn't mean there's people out there that don't like that. When I play Call of Duty, when I play Battlefield, Rainbow Six Siege, any FPS game out there, I love variety. I eat it up. That's what keeps me coming back to the game. I can't use one weapon and be excited about it, forever. I could do it a little bit in the beginning when I'm trying to learn the game. But when you're going months in, years in of trying to enjoy something, you can't use the same thing over and over. It's going to get boring. And when there's only a few weapons to mess around with in the assault rifle and the SMG category, keep in mind the SMG and assault rifles are some of the most popular categories out there. That's typically what everybody uses for their go-to, even if a sniper or LMG player gets tired of their role, they go to an AR and SMG. It's just everybody's go-to class. And there's no gun variety in there. So that's a tad bit worrying. But, of course, we still have Portal, which is going to be releasing with Battlefield 1942, Bad Company 2, and also Battlefield 3, all the weapons, 50-plus guns, along with tons of vehicles, those maps, along with Battlefield 2042 maps. So, a lot of variety will be in Portal. And also, they have mentioned that every single season will be dropping with about 6 to 8 weapons, which is really good. It just depends on how long these seasons take to come out. Is it going to be every few months? Is it going to be half a year, a full year? How many seasons are going to be in a game? Again, it's a lot of questions to be asked, but I'm not going to jump too hard on this one yet because, like I said, this is something that we should wait to see first on how they're going to act before judging ahead of time. But at least we have a general idea that, yes, for content drops, they're not going to be little skimpy drops where it's going to be like 1 or 2 guns. We will get nice chunky drops. It just depends on how frequently we'll get them. And of course, like I said earlier, yes, DICE is going to go ahead and fix all the bugs and glitches. They're going to polish off this game and make it play amazing. They did their job correctly. But what about EA? What are the publishers doing for this game to make sure the community is having a good time? Well, apparently they're not doing jack crap right now because the connection for the event was absolutely awful, which is kind of stupid because you would think that if EA is trying to sell their game off to content creators so these content creators can go home and make obviously what they do, make content for their viewers to hype up Battlefield, you would want to give them a good experience. But of course, EA was super duper cheap and they gave them the worst of the worst servers to play this game on. Now, is this a bad thing? No, because they did the same thing with Vanguard in their, initial trailer where they had a bunch of celebrities hop in. The freaking servers were disgusting. They were awful. And then, of course, Vanguard just released, and I gotta say, the servers have been pretty decent. Not the all-time best, but they're not completely trash. So I think personally that EA might have just been, pushing out these very cheap servers because it's not going to be anything official. It's just going to be a short-time event for these content creators to try out. But it still is, worth noting here that there is a possibility that these servers that we're going to be playing on will be awful. Because in the beta as well, this isn't a shocker. It's not just during this event. During the beta, it was impossible to find good servers. During the first closed portion of the beta, it was really easy. But once that beta opened up for everybody, once crossplay was enabled and you could play with all of those people, I literally could not find a match with less than 100 ping. It was that bad. And I'm talking about for hours. This was while I was streaming the game for like 7 to 8 hours. And not a singular match with less than 100 ping. Unplayable, and it was awful. I really hope this is not going to be a problem that transfers over to the full game because, like I said, DICE can do as much work as they possibly can, and they can make a banger. But as long as the servers are crap that they're playing on, it's not going to make the game any better, You can have a beautiful title, but if I'm going to be rubber banding everywhere and my shots aren't going to connect, and a game that's a first-person shooter that revolves around gunfights working, then that defeats the whole purpose of playing a first-person shooter, you know what I'm saying? But overall, I gotta say, I'm extremely pumped to try out this game. This news has only brought me some happiness. I know the negatives were a little rough there, but the positives were a lot better for me. Knowing that the maps are really solid, and also knowing it's not a glitchy, buggy mess anymore like it was in the beta, it just sounds so good. But guys, thanks so much for tuning into this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like if I hate it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new and you enjoy the content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Also, want to chat with me, there's 2 ways to do so. I have Twitter and Discord. Both those links are down in the description. And also, if you're going to catch me live stream some video games I do over on Twitch, link that is in the description as well. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.